Hi, Kirill. It's nice to see essays from you again. Okay, I understand you've been working on speaking, so good. But now that you're back to writing, let's take a look at what you wrote here. This is about employees staying at the same job or switching. Let's see what you wrote. Okay, oops, there we go. Nowadays, many people change jobs during their career while others stay in the same workplace. So be careful with this grammar. It's your first sentence. And in general, you really want to make sure that the grammar in your introduction is really accurate. It's providing a general sense to the examiner of where your language level is. And so you want to kind of sway the examiner in a positive way as much as possible. Okay? So let's aim for high accuracy here. All right, so let's look at it again. Nowadays, many people change jobs during their career while others stay in the same workplace. Some believe that to carve out a niche, you have to gain experience, get rid of "and," experience and flexibility. And while on the whole, I agree, it also provides some advantages. Okay. This essay will discuss this viewpoint using examples from the UK government and Oxford University to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay, so you probably saw that I halted a little bit. I had a little difficulty. And the reason for that is because I didn't think this was particularly clear. So when you say that you have to carve out a niche, you have to gain experience and flexibility. What are you actually supporting here? Are you supporting switching jobs? Are you supporting staying at the same? So your attempt at rephrasing and using different language actually had as a result that we don't really clearly know what your viewpoint is, okay? So be careful with this. It should be absolutely clear to us where you stand on this issue. Now, if I had to guess, because you use that word flexibility, I'm kind of assuming that you think people should switch jobs, but you really didn't state it very clearly. And so I want to advise you to do that, to state it more clearly so that there's absolutely no question about where you stand on this issue. Okay? So that part was a little unclear. And then this too, look what you wrote. You said, while on the whole, I agree, it also provides some advantages. So that doesn't really make sense either, because this while shows contrast. Okay, so it's not really appropriately linked. Because, I mean, it would make sense if you had said something like, let me see if I can explain this. All right, let me put it to you this way. Some people think that switching jobs is bad, and while on the whole I agree, it also provides some advantages. All right, so that makes sense because you've got this negative here that switching jobs is bad, and then you say, I agree with that viewpoint. It also would provide some advantages though, and you have this while here, so it makes sense. So I was really rather confused because it sounded to me like this was positive, yes, switch jobs. I agree. It provides advantages. So I don't understand where the while fit into all of this. So as a sentence, it was really confusing to me. Okay? All right. Let's move on. Let's go to your body paragraphs now. On the one hand, there is ample evidence that employees should adhere to their job until retirement. Get rid of the here. You don't need it. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, it increases the chances of moving up the ladder in the career path. Secondly, it provides stability and future fringe benefits. For example, recent empirical research by the UK government demonstrated that 75% of present employers prefer to work 75% of present employees prefer to work for the authorities because they rely on perks and benefits and set retirement age. Okay. It must not be forgotten that due to the coronavirus pandemic and widespread unemployment, stability is essential to stay on course and earn a living. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that nowadays staying in the same job has its positive sides and benefits. All right, Kirill, I was okay with this paragraph, although I did have a question. You said here, due to the coronavirus pandemic and widespread unemployment, stability is essential to stay on course and earn a living. So, I mean, you're assuming that we understand certain things. I'm wondering if maybe you could have said something, just an extra sentence, really just go that step further. Because what you're essentially asking us to do is you're asking us to kind of make some assumptions here, okay? And that's something you don't really want the examiner to do. You don't want the examiner to have to make those assumptions. Instead, you want to provide all the information that the examiner might possibly need. So when you say that because of the pandemic, there's widespread unemployment, therefore stability is essential to stay on course and earn a living, maybe you could have just said something a little extra about that. So, you know, that it's really in everyone's best interest in a climate with great unemployment. It is in everyone's best interest once they have a job to stay in that job, to avoid periods of unemployment so that they can retire at an appropriate age and so forth. So just go one step further. And this is just in general, not just for this particular paragraph, but you never want to ask the examiner to make assumptions or to sort of guess what you're referring to. In other words, spell it completely out for your reader, okay? Let's move on to the next paragraph. On the other hand, although there is a case for stability, work volume, and even fringe benefits enriching society, the impact of skills flexibility, what does that mean, skills flexibility, cannot be overstated. This is largely because many people, while searching for their own niche changing jobs, I don't understand that either. What does that mean, their own niche changing jobs? Do you mean that while they are searching for their own niche and they change jobs? Is that what you mean here? I think this is what you mean, but it wasn't really stated very clearly. Let me see if I can come up with something else. This is largely because many people, while searching for their niche, change jobs, especially at the beginning of their career. That makes a little more sense. For example, an extensive study by Oxford University showed that over 80% of students after graduation change 2 to 3 workplaces before they find what they like. Also, with the development of IT technologies, various new positions, get rid of the of, become available, offering new interesting jobs to people. So you need to change that around a little bit. Consistent with this line of thinking, many people master new skills according to the current progress and society needs. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt the switching jobs has become, okay, it started in the past, continues into the present, so has become the new normal in modern society. From the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that staying in the same job is not an option for everyone. It is predicted that in the future, mastering new skills and improving job flexibility will increasingly grow in importance. All right, that was clear. Okay, so on the whole, I liked this essay. I thought that your task response was good. You developed it well. You did a lot of good things as far as the development of the topic was concerned. You developed your body paragraphs well. We did mention, though, in the beginning that your introduction was a little awkward. It wasn't clear what you were talking about. So essentially, I didn't know what your position was until the end. Okay, so this is really kind of a shame because your paragraphs were developed really nicely, but because you didn't really have that clear viewpoint from the beginning of your essay, it would affect your task response score here, okay? There were little things about grammar where some incoherence was created. It wasn't all the time, but there were a couple of areas where I wasn't really sure what you were saying. So what happens then is that it affects essentially two scores. It'll affect grammar, or vocabulary, depending on where the error really lies. But it will also affect coherence and cohesion because it does create a problem with the coherence of the message. Okay, so that's something I want you to be aware of. It was a good essay, considering that, it's your first one back after, a break of some time. But it did have some problems that would keep it from really getting into that like upper echelon of scores. Okay. All right, let's take a look at your English and homestay letter. All right, dear Mr. and Mrs. Smith, thank you for inviting me to become part of your family during my English and homestay program. As you already know, my name is Kirill, and this is going to be my first visit to the UK, so I'm very excited about it. I'm all set and ready to go, except a couple of things which I'd like to ask you about. Could you please let me know the best way I can get from the airport to your town? I searched the internet, but there is no information about bus service coming before 12 p.m. on weekends. Also, I'm curious if I can use my MasterCard to pay for public transport, or here you want an if I have to purchase a special pass in the kiosk. By the way, my flight will be arriving at Heathrow Airport on Saturday the 2nd at 8 a.m. I can't wait to see you soon. Regards. Okay, this was actually lovely. I really liked it. I thought it was extremely natural, friendly, accurate. Okay, so you could see I didn't really correct anything in the entire essay, in the entire letter. I do have one concern. In my mind, this letter is a formal letter. You don't know the family. You've never met them. So while you want to be friendly, you do also want to be formal. In other words, we do err on the side of formality when we don't know somebody. So your tone throughout this was definitely informal because, you had all these contractions like I'm excited about it, I'm all set and ready to go. But I thought that the rest of it was really rather natural. It was friendly, and so I almost didn't mind. Could an examiner possibly mark you down for not really taking this as a formal letter? Maybe. Although, an examiner could also look at it a different way, that, maybe you have already reached out to these people. Maybe you have met them online or, via Zoom or what have you. So it's possible that an examiner would give you the benefit of the doubt, because the truth is that on the whole, it was a lovely letter. I thought you did a really good job of this. Okay. But again, my thought is that this is always a formal letter. Okay, so I want to make you aware of all these things that examiners think about when they look at these letters. Okay, so that's it. I mean, I would like to have seen what you would have done if you had treated this like a formal letter. Although I did like it. I thought your examples were very good. I thought they were very well written. It was really nice. Okay, so let's see more work from you. I know you've got the package of essays that you're working on, so keep going with those. We'll be here, we'll be correcting them, so I'll be waiting. Okay, good luck, Kirill.